Okay, so in the last video I was talking about how the internet actually, from the very start, was able to completely influence new forms of thinking from the get-go. So what we were talking about before was that every new invention that usually had to do with communication and the way people organize themselves and information has influenced society as a whole. We took a couple examples: the printing press, the um, the television, the radio, telegrams, things like this revolutionized the way people interacted, the way people could communicate, the way people could vote and become informed about elections and so on and so forth, and news. So, oh, and of course, entertainment. I mean, geez, that's a whole other thing. Movies and media and all of that. I mean, it's all part of this. So, seeing how these examples clearly demonstrate that technology influences the society at large, we can now sort of look at the internet and sort of see, all right, well, these previous structures kind of were more centralized. They had, like, news organizations giving us the news, television organizations giving us, entertainment. Um, Now, yeah, sure, they've become less and less centralized in a sense. They depend on the viewers. Um, you might be able to get more involved in television than you would on the radio. You can see people more directly, but you can't really interact. It's usually, up till now, it's been, a one-way broadcast, and minus telephones, of course. But talking about major distributive powers like uh, like you know radio. It's been a one-way broadcast. They tell us the information, we absorb it. It's very nice, and the ability for more and more people to get told this information in greater doses and greater enhanced features, audio, visual, color, and then not just going to the movie theater to hear stuff or listening on the radio, but now suddenly televisions in your home, and then cassettes, and so on and so forth. And I mean, it just continues to expand and expand. This process, this technological process of invention, and then society sort of adapting an invention, a technology, as an integral part of its structure. This is what we've been talking about all along. These are the structures of a society. These are the structures that influence the society as a whole. Now, sometimes, though, there's a critical point, much like during the printing press, the invention of the printing press, where something fundamentally changes. Nobody had books before back then. That was a big thing. That was a very big thing. In the same way, nobody really had the power to communicate in such an enhanced, decentralized way before the internet. And because of that, it seems that, and I called this term during my thesis, a process of virtualization has been occurring. Now, this has always been occurring because we've been virtualizing basically everything since the printing press, and before that, we've used books and writing and systems to conceptualize. But the internet in particular has done what all other inventions have done: take everything, include it, and then do something better. Television included audio, and then gave us, visual, and then color, and then a couple channels, and multiple channels, and movies and channels. Music videos, movies and channels. It just keeps going and going and going. So now the internet has been able to assimilate everything that books do, everything that television does, everything that radio does. It has assimilated all forms of media. It has virtualized all forms of media. And not only that, but it has become such a nifty tool for communication, for business, for media, especially media, because media is where you make the money. Media is very related to economy. Products. The more we value the internet as having something that we can get it from it, for instance, music. That's a product. I want that product. Now I no longer need a physical CD. Now I have an MP3. Now I have iPods and iTunes, etc. These things replace the physical structures. It virtualizes media, virtualizes it, and it creates this abstract form of media, music and videos, etc., that I want and I want to buy. It also allows people to connect in much, 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 much more interwoven and networked ways. Things like eBay and Amazon, where you can sell your own products. These sort of micro businesses are now popping up. More people are able to do more things. So the process of virtualization is, on one hand, more media and more aspects of society are becoming virtualized. The latest example is virtual servers. You used to have to pay to have a server, to put your website on a server, put your data on a server, with a cloud sharing, and the sort of things with like mobile me and so on and so forth. But now we're able to actually, in the fall at least, Ubuntu is claiming to get a server, a program which will virtualize a pretend server, an abstract virtual server on your hard drive. So you have your own server if you know how to work it. So I think that's pretty amazing. Now we're virtualizing computers. We're virtualizing hard drives. That's crazy. But this isn't necessarily a new thing. I mean, there are programs like Parallels which virtualize operating systems. Now you can have Windows on your Mac and Mac on Windows, and I mean, these things are getting crazier and crazier. It's, again, include and transcend, include and transcend. This sort of thing is happening a lot with technology, the evolution of technology, which is a major aspect of studying sociocultural evolution and the relationship between technology and society. Technology evolves, and with that evolution, it influences society as a whole. And usually it just kind of spirals on and on and on in that way. So, since we have all this covered, I hope I explained it pretty nicely, at least so you get a general idea of what I've been studying. So yeah, so we reach this point where more and more things are no longer dependent upon central authorities. This process of virtualization does that. More and more stuff that we can do on our own. Now this I categorized as just very basic term. Just more democratization. More power and more authority is being handed from, the central agents that bind society together, the church, big mainstream media. You can self-publish, you can self-do this, you can create your own communities now. These things were never possible before. It's such an ease and an ability. So basically, there's this general process of, number one, digitizing and virtualizing society, aspects of society, onto the internet, onto this virtual structure that we've pretty much not mastered, but we're using much more than ever before. And two, throughout history, there seems to be a trend towards more democratization, and I don't mean this by a democracy government. What I really mean by that is just more authority is being transferred from the haves to the have-nots. More people, basically, people can do more than they ever could before on their own. I can publish videos on my own. I couldn't do that in 1935. I could not video blog in 1935. It's impossible. Now everybody can do it. Anybody with internet access, and there's a lot of people who have it, can do this. So more people can have a more participatory and direct influence on society. However, it doesn't mean that one person can transform society easier than ever before. It means that people collectively have more influence in society than ever before. Collectively, we're becoming more like a collective interdependent influence that can handle its own issues, and not need a middleman, this central authority, like to do the things once that they couldn't do before, but they can do now. I can self-publish books, I can self-publish music, I can self-publish anything. So we have this shift, and I'll end that right here, and please, your thoughts.